Okay, in the next few videos, we're going to get into some of the ratios and metrics that help us assess the health of the business's net working capital. So in this video, we're just going to do the net working capital ratio. So we'll call this the net working capital ratio. So just like in other videos, let's talk about what this is first. So the net working capital ratio, it provides a general sense of whether or not a business has a sufficient amount of net funds available in the short term to stay in operation. It's not a perfect ratio because there are timing constraints associated with that, and it doesn't reflect something like an aging schedule, which we'll discuss. But generally, it tries to imply, well, are there enough non-cash current assets available to cover the current liabilities? So the way it's traditionally calculated is you take all the current assets and then you subtract all of the current liabilities. I find that that ending number tends to be a little bit arbitrary. I actually prefer to make them a ratio. So we're going to do that instead. We're just going to do the sum of our current assets divided by the sum of our current liabilities. And then we're going to format this in a very specific way. I'm going to go to Format Cells, click Custom down here, and then in the type, I'm going to type 0.0, which just means the number of digits, and then put an X at the end of it. So it'll be 3.2x or 3.2 times the coverage. Okay, so what is this saying? And let's just drag it out a few to get a trend here. This looks like that historically, on average, the business has about 3.5 times non-cash current assets as it does non-cash current liabilities. Or said another way, if you were to receive and or liquidate all of these balances tomorrow, there would be 3.5 times the coverage to pay off the liabilities. However, again, it's not a perfect calculation because let's just say your AR balance was a huge balance. Well, that would make your ratio very high, but perhaps something on your books is well over 120 days old. You may never even collect it, so it wouldn't be accurate to assume that you could cover your short-term liabilities if your short-term assets weren't a true reflection of the cash coming in. So let's just drag this out all the way to the end of our forecast period. Okay, and we see as the business grows, it looks like that net working capital ratio is right about 4 throughout the entire projection period. So in conclusion, this ratio implies that the business has enough non-cash current assets coming in to cover its non-cash short-term liabilities in the future. And that's it for this video.